Hello, second graders. Welcome back to Fiesta Gardens Library. This is week 5 of library during distant learning. Last time we started a chapter book, The Story of Diva and Flea by Willems. It's about Flea the cat and Diva the little dog. Where we left off was when Flea the cat left a mouse for Diva. Flea loves mice, so she thought that Diva would too. She left it for her as an apology for making a little bit of fun. And they became friends. Let's continue with The Story of Diva and Flea by Willems. Le premier Entracte, the first intermission. Chapter 4, Feet. After Diva and Flea had shared their first laugh together, Diva invited Flea to visit her courtyard every day. Diva would stand by the gate as Flea told stories about the underground rooms on wheels, the people who drink coffee all day, the piece of salami in the broom that missed, and more of his many adventures. Diva had never thought about the world beyond her courtyard until she heard Flea's amazing stories. She especially liked the one about the tower so tall and so pointy that it could cut a cloud in half, like a knife slicing through a soft piece of delicious cheese. Diva loved cheese. For Diva, just inside her courtyard gate was the most wonderful place on earth for listening to Flea's stories. There, the sun warmed her fur and his stories warmed her imagination. But then, as often as not, she would hear the ominous click-clacking of feet either entering or exiting the apartment building. Diva was a small dog, smaller than a person's foot. The way a foot tended to come crashing down from the sky made her aware of just how squishable she was. See all the feet? The fact that feet usually traveled in pairs did not help things one bit. As soon as she heard the telltale click-clacketing, Diva would yell, "Feet!" and run away. After enough time had passed, Diva would slowly return to the courtyard. Then Flea would resume his story. That is, until that telltale click-clacketing returned. Diva couldn't help but yell, "Feet!" and run away again. It was who she was. "I like telling you my stories," Flea told Diva with a smile, "but they sure take a long time to finish." Chapter 5, The Big Thought. One day, after he had finally told the story of the store where the man roasts whole chickens and could learn a thing or two about sharing, Flea said, "Well, time for me to go now." "Where will you go when you go?" asked Diva curiously. "Where won't I go when I go where I go?" replied Flea proudly. "How am I supposed to know where you won't go when I don't know where you do go when you go?" asked Diva. By now, their little dog and big cat brains were very confused. Unsure of what to do next, Diva thought of yelling, "Feet!" and running away. But there were no feet anywhere to be seen, so Diva just stood there. "You should join me one day," said Flea suddenly. "You could be a flaneur like me." "What is a flaneur again?" asked Diva, worried that it might be a type of a mouse catcher. Flea explained that a flaneur is someone or some cat or maybe even some dog who wanders the streets and bridges and alleys of the city just to see what there is to see. And a great flaneur has seen everything, but still looks for more, because there is always more to discover. I am a great flaneur, Flea said with his tail raised high. That is how I discovered you. But little dogs like me are not flaneurs, said Diva certainly. There are always exceptions, replied Flea. They are what make you exceptional. Diva thought about being a flaneur. Simply imagining the big buildings in the giant parks, in the wide avenues, in the tower that could cut a cloud in half, made her shiver. The world was larger than she had thought possible, and it was all right there on the other side of the courtyard gate. That was a big thought for a little dog. Chapter 6, A Big Step. Diva had spent the whole night thinking about the big thought from the day before. So in the morning, she was tired and impatient for Flea to arrive from his early flaneuring. I have been thinking, said Diva before Flea could poke his head through the courtyard gate. I have been thinking about becoming a flaneur just like you. Excellent, purred Flea. Let's go. Now? Asked Diva. A flaneur does not need a plan to have an adventure, said Flea. A flaneur creates an adventure whenever the opportunity arises. Oh, said Diva quietly. Even though she had spent the whole night thinking, she had not thought of that. I can show you the giant tower that can cut a cloud in half, said Flea unexpectedly. It is just around the corner. Around the corner? Gulped Diva. She also hadn't thought she would have to travel all that far. Come on, said Flea as he turned and dashed onto the sidewalk. Diva did not move. Flea looked at her from the middle of the sidewalk and smiled a nice smile. Take a little step and see how it feels, he said. Even a little step felt like a big step to Diva. The sidewalk was large and different and very not courtyardy. But if Flea was there, and he was, then it couldn't be all that bad. So slowly and carefully, Diva scrunched her nose and followed in Flea's paw steps. She passed through the courtyard gate for the first time ever, leaving behind the one place where she had lived her whole entire life. It took her many steps to reach Flea on the sidewalk, but eventually she did. Isn't this fun? Asked Flea. Diva did not think it was fun, but it was exceptional. Chapter 7, The Corner. Diva could not believe she was with Flea on the sidewalk. The world looked very different from all the way out there. She could even see her apartment building. This is really something, Diva said excitedly. Do you see me? I'm flaneuring. We're not done yet, said Flea before dashing around the corner and completely disappearing. Diva gasped. There she was, alone, outside, in the middle of the sidewalk by herself, without anyone else. In one direction was her home. In the other direction was her friend. Diva took a deep breath. She scrunched her little nose tight. She took a step forward toward the corner. Step by little step, Diva reached the corner. Then she turned and saw something wondrous. The tower that cut through the clouds. In front of her stood a giant steel tower, completely different than she had imagined. Yet, just like Flea had described it, big and strong and gentle and delicate all at the same time. It was so beautiful. Diva felt both smaller and larger, just being in its presence. This is the very famous Eiffel Tower. A tower that amazing makes people stop and stare. A tower that tremendous makes people from all over the world come just to see it. Lots and lots of people. Lots and lots and lots of people with lots and lots and lots of feet. I am not a great flaneur yet, said Diva to herself a few seconds later, safely deep inside the apartment building at 11 Avenue La Play. But I am brave. Next time, we will continue with Le Deuxième Entracte, the second intermission. And isn't this the most beautiful sight? Illustrations in this book are beautiful. Le Deuxième Entracte, the second intermission. We'll continue this next time. The Story of Diva and Flea by Willems. Bye-bye, second graders. See you next time.